No, I'm just kidding. Of, I mean, there might be madness and chaos, but of stimulating conversations, deep explorations into topics, and meaningful connection. How's that? What's going on over here? Hey, Daniel Barry. Hey, Busker. Oh, your laptop is having trouble. And Pat, hello. Just open panel. I have a couple of hours of the day left. I tried to get out here earlier, but my day got away from me. So I said, let me stream for at least a couple of hours, and then it's off to Betty Bye for me, so I can get up and go to my slave job and make that money to pay those taxes that I love so much. Yay! Can't wait. I'm so excited. Um, so yeah, that's it. That's my day. What is going on with you? Hang on, I'm trying to do social media at the same time. Um, sorry. I'm here. What's up? Not not a whole lot here. I guess we'll just wait for a panel. I'm trying to think of some topics that came up recently that I could maybe touch on or expand on. I'm sure there's many things that have come up that we could touch on, but that's not this kind of place. This is supposed to be a mental health channel, and the a comment, one of the comments was made yesterday that they find this is a mentally unhealthy place, and I think for some people it could be depending on their own mental health. But I think overall, most people come here because it enhances their mental health or it gives them a space to kind of either deal with their mental health and face it for a little while or take a break from it for a little while. And remember, this whole channel is built on the principle that I've found to be true in my life over and over and over of a healthy community being one of the core components of mental health. Like one of the factors that make the most difference in mental health. Hey, Puffy. And so by creating a healthy community, and by healthy community, I mean you can go look at some other YouTube channels and see what kind of community is an unhealthy community to compare it to. So by keeping that kind of space, that is the contribution to mental health. And so, yeah, you be your own judge. I mean, not everyone's going to find this their version of healthy. Hello, Nick Volt. What's up? I think I think you were either on the panel before or I was on a panel with you somewhere else. But I remember talking with you a little bit on a panel somewhere. Hello, Bart. Welcome. Ooh, what did I do? What happened? Oh. Well, welcome to our humble little corner of the YouTube. This is our warm up where I talk about random shit until people show up for a panel. And then once we get a panel going, that's often where the magic happens, if you want to call it magic. Sometimes it feels more like black magic. Oh, thank you. Speaking of black magic, it's just, keep it with the theme. And I have about 50 of these in my closet. So the probability of me being in a shirt with some kind of satanic or Baphometic character on it is very high. Hello, Miss Thing. Miss Thing, what's up? But see, I even like this with hardly anybody here and just a few people chatting in the chat. Feels like a healthy community to me already. So I'm happy with this and thank all of you for being here. We'll see what happens. There shouldn't be too many seatbelts needed, um, but the way things have been going lately. You've been in hiding from what? I don't know if this is the best time to come out. All kind of people are coming out lately. So, whatever you're hiding from, it's like a game because whatever people are hiding, there's other people out there trying to expose them. So it's cat and mouse. It's kind of like a reality show too, where they do a twist sometimes, where they'll throw in like new people or former players. They'll bring them back. Oh well, okay. I'm adulting myself right now, or attempting to, and it's going. I'm think I'm doing a decent job at it. And one thing I'm learning about adulting, it's a mindset. If you can't approach it with the mental attitude required to adult properly, or effectively, let's say, um, you're not gonna get. It's not gonna be adulting. It's gonna be this feeling that it's lame and frustrating. But once you tap in to what adulting actually is and kind of embrace it. It's noble. It's a privilege and an opportunity to take on something like that. And you benefit, society benefits, and if you approach it, it starts in the mind and the mental attitude. Um, you might even start to like enjoy it and want to do it even more. And to me, that's real adulting because then it has its own internal momentum and it becomes this actual separate authentic thing called adulting. Yeah, oh yeah, probably so. I've been on both of theirs many times. Yeah, the panelverse seems huge. It seems infinite. Because where do all these characters come from? There's just a constant cavalcade of crazy, kooky people. But then at the same time, I think we're probably a very tiny fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the population, much less the population that uses YouTube. And so I think the panelverse ends up being a lot smaller than it seems sometimes. When are you doing your first live? Because you kind of been going around giving little teasers on other people's lives, which is good marketing, I guess. Oh, Neurojack, my God, that dude is never not streaming. He does like 5 streams a day. He does more than I do. So yeah, yeah, that little crowd. That's kind of where I started. Machine Lies was my very first panelverse panel. I'd been on other panels before and shows and stuff, but that was my first like dip into the panelverse. And it was me and Toiletbowl Earth, or rather Toiletbowl Earth attacking me all night about being a Satanist or gay or something, and then attacking Machine Lies for letting me on, trying to daddy his panel, which people do. They come up on panel and then they try to influence how the panel goes instead of letting the host run their own panel. Y'all have seen many examples of that here. So for some reason, people think they can come here and pull that off. They even brag like they're pulling off this big trick or accomplishment on me. This channel is designed to be collaborative. I want people to come up and use it for their own thing and to add to what I'm doing here, like combine our visions. And so I want people to come up here and use the channel or take it over, direct it, or something. That's part of the content creation. But you're not doing anything special or sneaky or out of the ordinary, and you're not doing anything that nobody else is also doing by being up here, because that's what the channel is designed for people to do. So there's the context for it. Hank. Is Hank out there? Hey, Hank. I was thinking about him the other day. And hey, Shift. Yes, I did. I did let slip a cavalcade. Um, a kaleidoscopic cavalcade of crazies. The antlers is, okay, the real explanation um, is when I converted to Satanism, I went to the little Satan store by my house in Seattle, and they had all these horns. They had Satan horns, sheep horns, these horns. So I bought a whole bunch of horns, and I would wear different ones, and all of them broke except for the antlers. And the antlers are actually broken, but I use them anyway. Um, and so the antlers stuck around and kind of became part of my brand, and they were initially intended to represent the Satanism. But now they're a symbolism of my masculinity and Satanism and all that other stuff. My individuality, belief, and personal freedom. I revere Satan. I admire Satan. I'm inspired by Satan. Worship sounds really way more active than what I do. Plus, I'm non-theistic, so I don't believe in an actual Satan, and I'm a Christian Satanist. I also use Jesus and the archetype of Christ and the Holy Spirit. So, and I had stopped using the antlers for a while, and people kept asking about them, and when are they coming back and all that. So I brought them back, and that seems to be what the audience prefers. And theology is just because you got to remember these are all characters from a book. So theology turns out to be literary criticism and literary theory. So it's a form of applied literary theory, you could say. Specifically in the Romantic tradition, it's called Romantic or literary Satanism, but also rational Satanism, which is a tradition that goes back to Greece and Socrates and the philosophers. So I consider myself all of that. It's like an extension of secular humanism. Christ is king, yes, absolutely. This. Christ is king. I feel I'm already living an eternity in hell. Eternity to the extent that this is all you're ever going to know, that we're ever going to know. Whatever happens when it ends. And I embrace hell. I don't want to end up at heaven. Heaven seems like torture, like a punishment, like boredom. Like I would be very miserable in heaven, and I would be clawing at the walls, like screaming to get out. That's probably how Satan ended up in hell in the first place. Is he got so bored of heaven, he tried to kick it up a bit. And y'all of all people should be able to relate to this. Heaven's the kind of place where to keep your sanity, you're gonna have to troll. Like you're gonna just be driven to troll, and then you're gonna end up in hell anyway. So I skip the heaven part, and I just go right to the final destination. I embrace it. Bring it on. I'm getting it ready for y'all and all my friends. So I'm laying the groundwork and the foundation for the party that's going to happen when everybody else arrives. Well, I'm I am not the one that gets to decide. And I'm not even all that familiar with the criteria that whoever decides uses, but I have some surmises I can make. And I don't know if you know how much work you probably have to do to get there, you personally. I no, I don't believe in anything supernatural. But I did as a kid. I grew up Catholic, and I was an altar boy, and I sang in the choir, and I wanted to be a priest. I was a Catholic geek, like nerd. I had all the Catholic books. Catholics have like all these extra books and little missals and pamphlets and stuff, and I had all of that stuff. I studied that. I studied the history. One of my very first Christmas gifts, I remember begging my mom for Santa. At the time, I thought I was begging for Santa. Um, was the big Catholic Bible, and at the front you get to write your name and the day you got it, and like who gave it to you and your family tree. And I wanted to get all of that started. And I that's the only thing I wanted for Christmas that year is that Bible. And I got it. And Santa brought me the Catholic Bible, and I was so excited. I treasured that thing. Yes, I am. Yes, a gay faggot to be precise. Yeah, the gay autistic Satanist is what you'll probably hear the most about me, which is compared to what we've been hearing about you. I don't know. You choose which one you think is the one you want to be stuck with. I liked it. I didn't have any negative experiences with the church at all. I just outgrew it intellectually. Like by the time I was in sixth grade science class, it had all stopped making sense, which was coincidentally like a year or so after Santa Claus and all that stopped making sense. And but I didn't do it out of I didn't have any religious trauma or anything. It was the mass was very beautiful. I loved the church. I loved the statues, the artwork, the music. It was aesthetic and cultural, and I think it was a very positive, formative experience for like even intellectual reasons, and just being part of that kind of tradition. Yeah, Talking Heads. I was listening to them the other day. And what's the movie they did? Is it True Stories? The one where they go to Texas? Yeah, I love Talking Heads. That's the song? Especially the stuff they did in the 80s, like late 70s, early 80s with Brian Eno. Because he went in there and did all his magic on it, especially Remain in Light. And then another band that picked up about the same time and kind of carried on that tradition for a few years, which I've been listening to, is King Crimson. And Adrian Belew, who's the front man for that incarnation, did some of the guitar work on the Remain in Light album. And so there's a continuity there. And then Robert Fripp is part of King Crimson. I think it's Discipline is the first one, Beat, and Three of a Pair. It's like their little 80s trilogy. So that's very similar to Talking Heads in kind of aesthetic and sensibility. Which live version? Because I've seen a few. No, this stuff I'm talking, the King Crimson stuff. It's they revamped. Like Adrian Belew came over. This was right after his work with Talking Heads, and it sounds almost like the stuff they were doing in the 80s, like a continuation of the Heads. It's really good. Because I'm the same way about prog rock. I can't fully immerse myself in it and follow it. It's too demanding or taxing or something. Oh, okay, from Stop Making Sense. And then what's that double album they did? Is it called This Band is called Talking Heads or something? Take care, Shift. I hope you come back. Yeah, King Crimson Discipline. I would start with that one. And if you like that one, then listen to the other two because they're very similar. And you know, you got King Crimson's the one that did Schizoid Man. Like I have to keeping that in mind when I listen to them because it doesn't even sound like the same band. And that's an amazing song and album from back in '69, right at the beginning of it all. Well, I hope we get a panel today. Um, well, we got somebody. Let's see. Some First of all, you have to cam up so I can know that you're not a troll. All right. Somebody called People Are Sick. Does anybody know them? You're new here, so I have to vet you. If you have a channel, go ahead and drop it in the back so I can check you out. No channel. All right. I don't know. What do you convince? Type something in the back and convince me. What do you want to talk about? Or because we got a lot of trolls that show up and try to disrupt. Oh, I can't hear you from the back. Wow, really? Did he get that from you, Lanny? I guess it's encouraging. I still don't think there's a future for rock. I think as a genre, it's spent. But it heartens me that young people are discovering all of that on their own, if not from you. Hey, Britt, what's up? Yeah, it has. Like a few years, it seems like. Oh, you know that guy? Thank you then. See, my instincts were right. I'm getting good at this. Now watch me get porn bombed. Oh yeah, Depeche Mode. I um I grew up when they were coming into popularity in the 80s. They really hit big in high school with I think it was Songs for the Masses maybe or Black Celebration. Yeah, they're still going. All those bands are. Billy Idol just came out with a new album and it sounds just as good as his 80s stuff. They still got it going. Oh, okay. So it is something you listen to as well. Well, that does show a little bit of taste. Hey, I'm a Swiftie. I don't know how anybody that grew up in the 80s cannot appreciate Taylor Swift. She's some of the best 80s music ever made, especially her pop stuff. I don't know so much about her new stuff. Nick, who likes Star Trek, I'm not sure. He seems like he probably does, though. The little bit I know about him. What is the best new band like for people who like rock? Um, my last great discovery band wise was probably Dr. Dog from Philadelphia, and they started like back in the 2000s, so they're not even that new. Oh, she's good. She's another 80s, and she's coming out with a new album, and her last album, the one with flowers on it, is excellent. It's straight out of the 80s. It's more that 80s rock style. And then Swift is like the pop stuff that Madonna helped pioneer. Who's Robert Trower from? Oh, Procol Harum. I had her first album when it came out, and the Holiday was the big hit song from it at the time, and then she did Borderline, and by the time Lucky Star hit with that little at the beginning, that little like that just caught that completely swallowed me in. And I'm like, I have got to get this tape. And nobody listened to it until Like a Virgin came out. That's when everybody put their attention on her. And that first album is so good. It's one of the best dance albums ever made. I listened to it over and over. Hey, Moose, what's up? Just hanging out, trying to rustle up a panel. Yeah, and Taylor, as far as I know, she writes all her own stuff, like her lyric. And I think she collaborates on the music, but she is musical. She plays piano and everything, so she composes her melodies, I'm sure. And her lyrics are very, very deep and intelligent. I got sucked in with "Shake It Off." That's a good one to start with, from 1989, I think, is the album. Hey, Jack Talcott. I was at a party and they were playing that song. It was like dance hour where they cleared out a corner of the room and played music and you could go dance. And they played that song and I had never heard it before and I'm like, "Oh, I kind of like this." And this Asian girl grabbed me and she's like, "Oh, you do? Then we should go dance." And she pulled me onto the dance floor and we started dancing to it and it was so poppy and boppy and fun. And I just enjoyed that feeling of just letting loose and just having fun. It didn't have to be deep or meaningful or anything. And I was hooked after that. Wildest dreams. Yeah, that 1989 is good. So is Red, the album before that, but that was more like country rock. It was more a transitional album. But 1989 and the one she did after that, which I think is Reputation, are the two big ones, to me, the really good ones. Jack, what's up? I see you streaming from. It looks like a new bedroom or something. So you got somewhere to safety? Because last time we talked, you were coming up on a deadline. Yeah, I like her voice. I like that like raspiness or little harshness to it, that breathiness, and I think she's a phenomenal songwriter. Like she captures that '80s sound perfectly. What's the she did that EP with what's that song on it? God, let me look it up. Like back in the 2010s, that I think is just perfect. Oh, and then Plastic Hearts that came out in 2020. That also sounds straight out of the '80s, and I think it even has a few '80s stars on it. I know Billy Idol's one of the. She does a duet with him. Let me see this. It's called "She Is Coming." Unholy. It's that EP. Oh, we're just talking about pop singers. Taylor Swift and Miley Cyrus. I don't even know how we got on this topic because we were on King Crimson before that. Palmyra. Palmyra. I don't listen to a lot of rap or hip hop, but I was around. I was in high school when Run DMC and Beastie Boys hit, and they hit big. Even in my little small rural southern town, everybody, all the guys had a Beastie Boy and a Run DMC album that they would thump in their trucks. And so I was there like at that very first wave and I absorbed a little bit of that. And then after that it just completely lost me. The group sounded the same, the lyrics sound the same. I can't tell one from the other. I can't tell the one name for the other. I don't know who's in what group. It became so hard for me to follow. For some reason rock was easier for me to follow auditorily and like culturally. I could just keep up with the bands better. And so I felt like shut out of hip hop and rap very early. Although I was a big Eminem fan when Eminem hit, especially from 8 Mile after watching the movie 8 Mile. Yeah, and she's another one. They both, her and Taylor, both transitioned from country to pop to whatever they do now, folk and 80s rock. So who did Jolene? Miley? Because what's her face? Beyonce did a horrible version of it. Coast Contra. Oh, we have a guest. This man needs no introduction, so I'm not going to waste my time giving you one. What's up? I love the red curtains. Very Twin Peaks. Where are you?
I'm in Baltimore, Maryland,
Oh, Lord, what are you doing there?
close to DC. I haven't found a way
Oh,
to
you're on your
succeed.
mission?
Yep.
Wow, how's that going?
I've been praying for miracles, but I haven't given up yet. How's it going? Well, I started out staying in hotels and I thought I'd find something once I got here, but I didn't. So then I found a place to rent. And so I'm out of the hotels. I've got a wonderful apartment, and I'm about an hour and a half from the capital as far as my estimations and what I can tell.
Wow, so what's your plan now? Or your strategy?
Well, the goal is still ending wars and ending wage slavery.
I love wage slavery. I don't want it to end.
Why not?
I love it. I do it every day.
Okay, you enjoy the work part,
Yeah.
but the reliance
And
on
the money
money,
part.
do you enjoy having to rely on money?
Um, what's the alternative? Because relying on money, it's just all I've ever known. I've just kind of taken it as a given part of life.
Yeah, that question was a tough one. That one's a hard one to imagine to jump to that conclusion. But I truly believe that if we change our value systems collectively, we change the methods of distribution, right? Because that's what an economy is. It's how the energy and resources are distributed. If we
What would we
change,
change it to?
I did a stream recently on this topic. The words are perfectly describe where I'm coming from, Jeff. Benevolent socialism.
That my very first reaction is that's a lot of trust in other human beings. Power to be benevolent and desire and will and motivation to be benevolent.
Oh, but the rewards. The rewards. I can only start to imagine the possibilities. And I think benevolence is easier with transparency within our government. Yes, comrade.
Uh-oh. We're building another type of army here now.
Yes, that's my goal. That's what I want to do. I want to recruit the men and women in Congress to join my goals. Peace on earth, ending the control that this international banking scheme has captured. It's worldwide. And there's people in other parts of the world that don't have the opportunities that I feel I have, that we have.
Yeah, that is certainly true. That's one thing I think that makes this place so special. Or like a lot of Western countries.
Can I
It's the
answer the
opportunities.
yes? Can I answer the one in the chat?
Yeah,
Lanny
which
from
one?
Canada asking national socialism. I'm actually thinking worldwide.
Oh,
Worldwide, overcoming the nation states, overcoming the borders, recognizing that everyone is people.
no, no.
Yep.
That's a
Yep. It sounds
um.
scary, Jeff, but
Yeah, that's way too much trust in other people. Hey, in the back, can you flash your cam real quick so I can see that it's you? You don't have to come on cam on the stream.
oh, is that if that's Nick? Oh
We
my
do have
goodness.
a special guest that would like to come up. Yeah, I. All right, I got you. You just, I'll bring you 1 sec. Here we go, Professor Nick Volt.
I'm a fan.
So let me know if my audio's all messed up. I mean, you can hear me. It like
Yeah, no, you sound perfect now so
my
far.
fancy mic doesn't work. I have low USB power or something. Maybe it's a
Welcome.
Oh,
performance
That
issue. But about money, before you can have socialism or any of this, and let me make it clear, I am a 100% capitalist, but I do agree that at some point the economy needs to move beyond this idea that money is scarce or money is a scarce resource that we all have to fight over. Um, Honestly, I do think AI is going to help with that. People are afraid of losing jobs because of AI, but maybe it would be better if we didn't have to do silly jobs just to make money, but rather we did things because we want to or is the betterment for humanity. Of course, then people say, well, if there's no money, then people aren't going to be motivated to work. Who cares? If you don't want to work, then don't work.
yeah.
Live a boring, dumb life. Um, but until then, I think we need more wars. Definitely more wars.
oh my goodness,
More
no.
work. Yeah, I do
Oh my
too.
god.
Well, and I will full disclosure, my opinion's biased because war is good for business. Us physicists do very well in war. I know the left is complaining about this $1 billion Iron Dome, but that's going to create a lot of jobs.
Yes, it will. In that field, you're absolutely right. Holy
And
cow.
generally, military technology ultimately has good civilian use.
Even
GPS, the internet, like we're talking right now.
yeah,
So it's not all
eventually.
horrific.
Eventually. But there's other options. There's other options available. And Nick, you got it. You got it. I'm pro labor and anti work. This system requires people to work at jobs that are just mindless and deadening, right? They provide no value. They just for regulation or repetition. It's nonsense.
Well, I mean, that's the argument which Doge has used, which, there are a lot of useless jobs.
yes.
But the left has done a terrible job of addressing this problem. Like, for example,
Yes.
here in California, if you clean hotel rooms, you get $31 an hour by law. Or
Oh my
if you
God,
work at
that's more than I
fast
make.
food, I mean, and yet jobs which require skill, our salaries don't go up, and
Right.
that's where people get. That's where it kind of sounds like communism and socialism, that you can do a meaningless job and still get what they call a quote living wage. Um, I don't want people to be poor or homeless, but at the same time, there's a reason why unskilled labor commands a lower wage because anybody can do it. Anybody can do it.
We can change the re, the reliance on money. We can change the way that people receive value, the way that value is exchanged. Because this
Yeah.
money system, it's all fabricated. It's a bunch of nonsense and lies. Slavery, it's literally built on debt slavery, the whole world system, and it's by choice. So if we change the rule, if we change the method, right? And let's What convinced me of the problem is looking at the obvious. When I was looking at wealth inequality, and you accept the facts, money right now is a tool. It's a tool that we all require in order to survive, to get education, to get support. But if we're going to allow this requirement placed on every human being, then there's got to be rules about hoarding, right? And these billionaires are hoarding the money, and they've lost sight of the value of sharing.
Well, I mean, there is some truth to that. And I mean, what makes the United States and why our capitalism works very well, or it has worked in the past, is you have a strong middle class. And the fact is, most people don't want to be as rich as Elon Musk. Most people just need a safe home, a warm bed, a place to raise their children, a place to get educated, and that's it. I do agree, though, that and somebody put this in the chat about, you will own nothing. That over the last 30 years, this divide between the very poor and the very rich is growing much more bifurcated, and there's nothing in the middle. In fact, those of us in the middle class, we sort of feel left out. We pay the most taxes. Here in California, if you're very poor, government represents you. If you're very rich, government represents you. Nobody represents us, the ones who pay for all of this crap. So, like here in California, when you want to you spend billions of dollars on healthcare for illegal aliens, it's on the backs of us. And then when the state runs out of money, who feels the hurt? The middle class. And that's the problem.
Nick, I agree wholeheartedly. And I actually, the reason I'm outside of DC, I want to find a way to address the men and women in Congress. I want to be a voice for the workers and people of the world. It's
Well,
time for change.
Jack, the problem with that, I tell this to my students because, they get, especially with like those Gaza protests, they're out, holding signs. That does nothing. The only way to influence Congress is money. And that's,
Why do we allow that to be the case?
well, because we have been trained to vote against our own interests.
We've
We
been
don't elect
trained to.
representatives which represent our interests. We send people to Washington who will vote against our interest.
Hey Nick, you said it. We've been trained to rely on the systems, to believe that many believe have given up on voting, or other people believe voting is the way. But beyond the systems, within the systems are people. And if we accept what we've got, right? We've got problems in the world. We don't have the most competent people, in my opinion, in positions of power and legislative authority. I think we could do better. But the thing is if we can connect to the people inside the system, and let them see the truth, the bigger picture, there's better ways. But we've got to break free of the old traditions. And most importantly, we got to stop fighting. The Republicans and Democrats in Congress need to knock it off, figure out how to work together so that we can end wars and bring some true reform to what has been going on.
I mean, ending war, though. I mean, let's just talk about that. How the fact is, I mean, everybody says the United States shouldn't be the police of the world, but yeah, I mean, it benefits us to stop evil regimes, evil people, um, and I think one way to end war is as we fight these wars, we should be exporting human rights. Not necessarily democracy, but exporting human rights. Our philosophy of sort of universal law. Thou shalt not kill. Women and men are equal. All of that good stuff. Get off this silly idea that morals are relative. They're not. There's some morals which are absolutely absolute.
Which
Uh,
ones?
what was
Can
that?
you,
Which ones?
Well, like for example, well, take case in point. United States is a signatory of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Many Islamic countries refuse to sign it because they think that criticizing a religion is a moral right. Like you're not allowed to do that, which is absolutely ridiculous. Or some of their beliefs towards women, like are not compatible with what we call universal rights, and then they started calling it Western rights, and which is such it's poppycock. There are some things which are right, and there are some things which are wrong.
That sounds Western to me, though.
I've heard that. In fact, that's what they changed it. Universal rights changed into Western rights, and then it turned into this thing. We couldn't. You would get labeled a racist by saying that maybe one set of morals and values is better than another set of morals and values, but then you just get shouted down as a racist for saying that, when in
Yeah,
reality it
you get
has
shut
nothing
down
to
as a
do
race
with
for
that.
everything, though, these days.
Well, yeah, that's true, but because that also makes money. I mean, look at here in California. I mean, you can make over
I
two
wonder,
hundred
is
thousand
it like
dollars a year being in
how many of
DEI.
these political trends are grifts, and how do you tell? Like, what's an actual trend in the people, and what's a grift
Well,
that
that's the
somebody's
challenge.
working that
That's the
people are
challenge.
falling
I mean,
for?
like I said, we've been trained to vote against our own interests. I mean, for example, let's look at the importance of Russia invading Ukraine. You know, that should be an important issue, but over the last election, we boil it down to who can use what bathroom as a major issue, and this is on both sides. I mean, the Democrats uh, hung their head on this stupid issue when less than 1% of their voter rolls even have can't decide which bathroom to use. But it makes money, and it gets votes. But unfortunately, the only way to influence politics is through money, which is why individuals may not have money, but that's why you start political action committees, stuff like that, because they can raise money.
And through voting, huh? Like outreach and mobilizing voters.
I don't know. I blame my generation. We were the ones who said everybody go out and vote. Maybe too many people are voting these days.
I don't think people are listening to each other. And
No.
particularly what you said, this point we're at where it's actually legal. What you're saying, where the people in government, they listen to money because that's what Citizens United legally said. Pay
Yep.
attention to the money. So that's insanity. And this is the path that Donald Trump is on. His version of American supremacy, which he's clearly, that's his goal. His version of American supremacy, though, it's all about wealth and authority. Those are illusions. We don't we don't have to go for that. We can go for peace. So I do believe there's a way to speak with the men and women in Congress. I've been trying to get their damn attention, but
Like, what
I
have you
don't
been
have
doing?
money. What's that?
Or what have you been doing?
Emails, website. I've tried calling.
Is it
I
time
don't.
for the signs in front of the White House? I mean, the Capitol.
I feel it's my faith being tested, right? My faith is in God, and I trust that somehow, some way, I'll meet someone, or one of my ideas will be at the right time, and or one of the congressmen will finally call me back, right? Anything is possible. But I think the truth can move people, not just money.
You would think that, but
You're right.
Part of the problem is knowing the truth, like convincing them that the truth is the truth.
that that
as I grow old, when I was in graduate school, my academic advisor said never underestimate the stupidity of humans. And
Yeah.
of course, then I was like, no, no, if people only have the knowledge, if they only have the information, it's this big evil conspiracy to keep information from people. Yeah, then I got out into the real world, and it's like, oh my God. But the problem is we need first thing we need to do is stop looking to governments to solve this problem. I mean, to be an American is to lead oneself. You need to take care of yourself and your family. That naturally leads to a better society. But with every election, oh, Trump's going to make me rich. Harris is going to give me a free phone. All this BS. Uh, it's stupid. I mean, I stopped voting in presidential elections. There's no point. I live in California. The next election has already been decided for me. The only elections I vote in are local because those are the only ones which count.
They do make a big difference. Nick, can I offer though?
Hmm.
Both things can be true, right? Your naive belief that with the right education that people would accept the answers, it is true. But the other side of that, it's
Yeah.
it's people's ignorance. Stupidity is part of our design. Some people embrace the genius, some embrace the stupidity.
I love it. Jack, that was Mark merch that one. Is that Kraftwerk
Yeah, this
or
is in honor of
Kraftwerk
Comrade
puppets?
Kraftwerk.
Please explain. I don't know what that means.
The
It's
German
a German
techno
avant-garde
band,
band, yeah, which is
electronic
supposed to be
band.
like the father of all electronic music.
Yeah, more or less.
Very
They kind of
cool.
were.
Dude, people are fascinating. They they do such the craziest things and so many cool things. That's kind of
I
cool,
know.
man.
Yeah, I feel the same way. There is.
Humans are freaking creative people, and we
Yeah.
are smart. That's why I get angry at these people who say, "Oh, we couldn't have built the pyramids because we didn't have the technology." It's like, dude, humans are smart.
Yeah.
I will say we get very creative when it comes to killing other people and designing new weapons, but that's, I guess, inspirational. Blame physics.
Yeah, but that's so that's embedded in us from
Well, yeah, I
thousands and
mean,
thousands of
yeah,
years. If
we're
we're not
we're
going to stop
hunters.
like sharpening rocks for arrows to kill other things.
I think uh, greed, greed and laziness, those are the biggest catalysts for creativity.
Yeah.
Right? Oh yeah, and there's got to be some lust in there too,
Oh yeah,
right?
that catalyzes a lot for me.
Yep. We'll get the wheels
I don't
spinning,
know if
man.
laziness has ever led anywhere, but greed or at least ambition,
No.
like having some kind of purpose or project.
I learned how to use my laziness to my
Oh,
advantage.
do tell.
Because, well, proper use of thought, right? You can sit and do nothing and be at peace and stress yourself out, or strategize. And so I think more and do less. And but the things I do are with purpose and intent, so I can sit around. I can conserve my energy. Although,
You're absolutely right. Like I trained my the university gives us this AI. It's like ChatGPT, but it's called something else. And so I trained it how to grade reports. That took a little bit of time, but now I don't have to do anything.
Is it accurate? Like, do
It
you?
is really accurate,
oh my
which
God.
I was kind of hoping it wouldn't be, but it's so accurate that I found myself grading them myself just out of some silly notion of, well, I should be grading them myself. But then I realized, like, what's the point?
I have that same notion,
Fascinating.
but you've.
It's efficiency. It's efficiency. I mean,
Oh,
hell, I want to get to the point where I can train an AI bot just to do my job. Like when students ask questions, it will just answer it as if it's me.
It's coming. It's gonna come to that
It's
anyway.
coming.
Like, but or
It's
then
here.
they're not gonna need you anymore. It's not gonna be a job.
Right. You-
Probably, but of course, to get AI to do that, it requires knowledge and training. It's not that simple, and that's once again the early adopters of technology are the ones which always win out in the end.
Well, this is the exact scenario of why I want to help humanity overcome our dependence on money. Because, yes, why shouldn't you be able to completely put yourself out of work and then be sustained?
Yeah,
As a union guy, and I've witnessed it, workers will argue against automation and technology, which would make their jobs easier, but it'll put them out of a job. And if, what's the point of promoting efficiency if you're not going to have a way to earn a wage?
yeah. I don't even get me started on unions. To be fair, I've never had a union before until I started working in academia. But unions sometimes make really stupid decisions. In
Yeah.
fact, my union, the California Faculty Association, is throwing a big fit about AI and claiming that we can't support AI because somehow it's racist. It's like, oh,
Oh my
okay.
God, it
Um,
is, but in the other direction.
yeah, AI is bad for the environment. I still haven't figured that one out. I think they think that it uses more of the internet, therefore servers require more electricity
Well,
or
crypto
something stupid
is.
like that. And of course, they're like, oh, well, it's going to take our jobs. I mean, look what happened in Detroit when the unions hung their head on that kind of stuff. Those jobs left. I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
one universal truth is if a computer can do your job, then a computer will do your job. And there's
That's
nothing you can do about it.
that's the direction we're going, and it makes sense. It makes sense from a business perspective to
Yeah.
reduce the labor cost, to you know capture the advancements in technology. And what you
And I mean, it's just the people who it harms are people who, I mean, there is still some labor which you need to craft your labor such that it's a skill which cannot be replaced. Um, and that is getting harder
Yes.
and harder, but
Yeah.
it just requires more effort on the individual. Unless you live here in California, then if you have unskilled labor, I mean, they'll give you six figures.
The thought that came to mind is grow in your value. Have skills and knowledge and be able to share a value, because man, life will surprise you. It surprised me.
Yeah, but
And unions, there's good and bad to the unions. But the reason I like it is because it creates more of a level playing field between the boss and the workers. And there's been a lot of good that came from organized labor. Um,
this is true.
but like most things, a lot of good things have been corrupted,
Yeah.
and the unions kind of lost sight. That's another part of the reason I'm here in Washington D.C. is I haven't found a way yet, and I haven't tried very hard, but I do intend to speak to my old union
Ugh.
president.
You can make a lot
Have
of
you
money in
contacted them at all? Do they know you're there?
I don't know. I sent I included one officer on one email, but no, I've not
Jack,
pursued it.
you should go show up at their office. Go around to the back and put your face up against the window like that. Tap on it and then wave when they turn around.
Actually, you know what? You reminded me of an act. There's nothing preventing me from going down there and knocking on the door, trying to get in and have a conversation with them. But I guess I've been afraid, if I'm honest. Which is totally in opposition to what I say.
What's the fear? What, they're going to throw you out?
No, but that I'll fail again. And these are people that I care about, and there's so much confusion from the past. I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want it to be. I don't want to. I think I have the fear of being misunderstood again.
Hmm.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah, and that might be a real possibility. So it's a legitimate fear.
Yeah. I, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Well, I screw up the opportunity. But the best that could happen, my old union president, Mark Diamondstein, I've been in his office before. He's he might remember my face, but last I saw, he sat on the board of the AFL-CIO, and through his position as the national president of his union, he has connections to senators and congressmen here in Washington, D.C. And they're the ones I want to talk to. I want to talk to Donald Trump, Elon Musk. I want to talk to Donald Trump and his entire administration.
You
Well,
know,
go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Speaking of unions, totally unrelated to the discussion, except for
No worries.
um, I know that my TAs are unionized and lab assistants. I just learned like 2 weeks ago that they're, you know who represents them? The United Auto Workers, which I'm trying to figure out how that ever happened.
How how does it
Like,
happen?
and apparently they do a very good job of representing them.
Good. That is an interesting leap from the industrial area of auto workers to the TAs,
Yeah,
and
it's just a strange combination.
it has to do with the rules and regulations regarding organizing, and I'm sure I can imagine. But
Well, I guess they're not that good. They didn't get them health insurance, but they got a small pay raise, which is like retroactive for 3 years. So it's like that must be nice.
it's not bad.
Yeah, but still, that's skilled labor. Unlike here in California, you could go clean bathrooms and get $31 an hour. Not to say there's anything wrong with cleaning bathrooms. Just I don't know if it's worth
That
30.
takes skill too, because I couldn't do it.
Right? That's true. I think we can find a different way of sharing resources rather than the
Jack, that's what I
corporate.
had asked earlier when I said what would replace it, what would we switch to, and I never really. That's
Oh,
my whole issue with all of this. I'm open to that, but what are we replacing it with? And that's where things get fuzzy.
the term I've latched onto, benevolent socialism, but it's just a name. The idea is we use compassion for managing resources.
And
So
where are you going to get
compassion,
that from?
oversight, and we use transparency and public oversight. So no more secrets, no more hierarchy. Anyone can speak to anyone, right? As long as they've got time for each other. But this this separation between wealth and authority, I used to believe in that, but it's not important. This idea is about prioritizing basic human rights and essential services. So, the number one goal for the administration and the community is to prioritize basic human rights and essential services for free.
That sounds very vague, though.
Well, that's where it starts. And then together we work out the details of what does that mean. And we determine what that means based on the resources that we've got available and we can access. Um, but truly, we can transform this entire world in the national scheme of America, they got this debt snowball that keeps building, right? Well, let's work. This is what I want to talk to Donald Trump about, right? Let's negotiate some forgiveness of these debts, and let's bring a little more compassion into the governance and the administration. The way these cuts are being made, you can kind of, I can feel some compassion for the employee who all of a sudden, nope, no more paycheck, no more benefits, go figure it out. You know, um, I don't know. I just know there's better ways that people can treat each other, and we're the people to do it.
Yeah, but wouldn't they be doing it? Like, how are you going to enforce it if they A, don't have the ability, or have the ability and just don't want to do it? They want to be selfish and greedy, and that's the path of like inertia, least resistance. So how are you going to ensure that they act benevolently and out of compassion if they're not already inclined to do it?
Well, there's currently nothing that requires them to. As a matter of fact, much of the regulation is built to focus on protecting economic interests. It's all about property and control. So this is why we have the divisions. It's legal. So what I'm talking about is some complete reforms where we break down the illusions of superiority and inferiority, especially in the workplace. None of this bosses running around treating their fellow coworkers as subordinates and trash. That's a bunch of nonsense, man.
That doesn't happen in my work. I mean, we have a hierarchy, but I don't see that kind of behavior happening.
Oh, see, I got to work at the post office, so I got to see some real
Oh,
poor examples of leadership and supervisors and managers, plus some good ones. I saw some great ones too.
You
hey,
know,
Doc.
Yes.
there was this study that um, they did this comparison whether you promote people in an organization based on experience, like how long they've been there, or you randomly promoted people. Turns out by randomly promoting people, the outcome was better. Most people get put into management positions not because they know how to manage people, but rather they've worked there for X number of years and get promoted.
But that says
Exactly.
something.
Lord Doc, how's King?
Hey, Nick, hold on. King! Come here, boy. Hold on, he's coming. He's getting older
He's
now.
gone.
There he is. Come here, boy. Come say hi to Nick. Nick, long time no see, man.
Yeah, I've
Say hi to Nick. Hey,
I've
You
been
said you were in
adulting.
hiding.
Well, because I was adulting.
over there.
I know. What? Oh, you were off it, and this
The
is cutting
boy.
into your adulting or making it harder.
Oh, look at that. He's a good
Hey,
boy.
Hey, Jack
How,
Talcott. Good to see you again. We met
But
that one time. Remember I showed you the silver? I had a couple coins. You might not remember. I was only there like once.
thank you. I hope I wasn't a dick, and if I was, please.
Maybe a little bit, but I don't take that shit
oh,
personally. I don't take that shit personally.
Doc
Thank
No,
you.
remembers.
not at all.
Thank you.
Ask Nick. Ask Nick.
Huh?
Nick is the one person that successfully trolled me to the point of fucking anger. Remember
did
that,
what?
Nick?
Let's
Oh
hear
yeah,
the
calling
story.
me
What
a
he did.
traitor. Remember that? Remember that? Yeah, he got me, dude. He got me. I was always priding myself. Nah, do we get me? This motherfucker
I
right
am
here.
so confused.
What did you
You're
do? Because
confused?
your Nick, your name comes up in several stories around here.
It
Nick's a
does?
legend. What are you
Yeah, this
kidding
is a
me?
new one. I'm interested
Nick
in.
is a legend.
Dude, yeah, dude. Jack Talcott's telling you that. You know something, Jack.
Oh,
Come on. If this guy heard a Nick vote.
I haven't even been around.
well, I guess
Not for a
they
while, but
follow you.
No. Well, that's good to know.
What
Hey,
did you do
Jeff,
to
can I?
Doc? Or Doc
I didn't do
was
anything to Doc. I think he's a good
No,
guy.
dude, I'm super cool with Nick, man.
well, you
Yeah.
said
Me
he
and Nick are
trolled
like
you
fucking
successfully.
peas and carrots on this motherfucker. Seriously. Hey, Jeff, though, I got to say, can I ask you a quick question? Nick,
Yeah.
don't get all pissed off. Let me ask Jeff.
I won't.
What happened with Mike, man? What happened with Mike? You tried to come up. You're not letting him up?
Yeah, he's not coming up at this while Nick's on. Those two have
Oh, I
very
got you.
bad
Yeah,
blood
they
between
don't get
them.
along. Yeah.
So
Is he actually
that's
still
why.
around?
Huh?
Somebody said he was in the chat.
He was just at my channel.
Oh,
Oh, he
wow.
must have run over to your channel after he got timed out
Well,
for
yeah, I was
attacking
ending it.
Nick in a very personal way, like taking
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
he's
Mike
Look at
knows
Jack. He's
Mike
loving
knows
it.
the parameters here.
That's
So I don't know what
my
story
dude.
he's telling you over there, but
No, he
that's
didn't
what
tell me
happened.
nothing. He didn't tell me nothing. Honest, I
Okay.
swear to God, bro. He was just on my panel getting attacked from everybody.
Well,
You
that's
isn't
what
know,
that
they do, and that's what
case?
he feeds
that's
on.
his
That's
thing. Yeah.
the
That's what
fuel
Mike does.
that
Also,
Look at
keeps the
Jack.
engine
Jack
going.
knows.
Yeah, let me guess. Everybody was attacking him
Fucking
as per
Sarone's a
usual,
legend.
and so he tries to
Sarone's
It's
pivot.
a
all
legend
part of the
on these
bit.
streets.
Mike's another legend, that's for sure.
Yeah, he is a legendary bastard.
Yeah, I'll give him that. You know, every once in a while he does a good troll.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
I'll
a
give him
neat
this.
troll.
He's not scared to say shit, which
No.
sometimes is effective in a troll.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a fucking nut. He's over there. So what do you think, Nick? Now, I mean, you must have heard by now. Joe's back. Must have heard. What do you think? He was
Yeah,
just bigging you up.
I've known about that.
Speaking of Joe,
Hey!
Yeah.
Nice.
This is the guy. This is the guy I'm talking about right here.
Wait,
Joe's
what?
back.
Speaking
So
of
Joe's back.
legends.
this is
Yeah.
Hey,
Cool
so
Joe
Nick's
Cool. What's
been
up?
scared of you coming back. So
Wait,
Who?
Joe? I'm not scared of Joe.
no, I'm trolling.
I like
Let's
Joe.
go, Joe.
Don't listen to me. I'm talking. No, Nick knows who I'm talking about. He's up here with a bunch of gentlemen, but he's acting like you don't know. Come on, you know.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about. Joe. The only
Moose, that's
Joe.
the rule. If they're going to talk about Mike, then he gets to come on and participate.
Oh wait,
But
Vegas
I'm
Valley?
not going to kick him off the panel and then let people keep talking about
Mike.
it.
Yeah, come on. Let's have Mike up. Come on, man. Is he in the back chat, Jeff?
No,
Is he?
he's not.
Oh,
But
all
he
right.
was
He's
earlier.
gone. All right.
Hey, Jeff, I saw you and Jack. I don't know if you know, but outside of like flat Earth panels, you are the two who booted me off of most panels. I had
You were
to come up
counting.
here.
That stuff sticks in your memory, huh?
I don't count, but you guys boot me all the time.
What?
man.
Why do you think? Do you think it's racism?
No, I think it's
Absolutely.
because I
Definitely
challenge you
racist.
guys, and I push and challenge.
I do it when you try to daddy my panel, or me, and
Uh-oh.
start telling me how the etiquette I should be using and how to talk and
Ooh.
how to run my panel and who to let talk and that kind of stuff.
Well, you
Yeah.
couldn't accuse me of that. I don't do
Well,
that to nobody.
the times you're talking about, you got kicked off. Just go back and watch those. That's what.
I can. It was because you said I interrupted, right? And you could interrupt, and
No,
I
you
couldn't.
kept accusing me of interrupting, and it's my panel. I can pretty much say what I want when I want. It's
No,
not
no, you
Wait,
interrupting
pretty
wait.
when I
much was
do it.
hearing things. Never said that. This is
Joe?
how I get kicked.
Joe, are you flat earther?
I am not,
Okay.
but I get kicked off a lot of flat Earth. I'm surprised they tolerate me. Them people are so nice.
Flat Earth
Well,
shit is
I'm
pretty
flattered to
interesting.
have the record, I guess, being Jack.
I don't know.
That's a
Jack has
distinction.
you beat by like 80. Jack got you way
Oh,
beat.
yeah, but Jack, he brings off and comes on like it's not permanent. He'll
No,
bring
Jack
someone
is.
off and on 10 times in one stream. So that
He'll
kills his
see me
numbers.
later today. We'll be
Not
fine or
really.
something. Or he could always text me, or I could text him, and we're cordial and fine.
Well, you know what it is? When Jack's on a topic, he don't fuck around. That's what
Thank
it is.
you.
He wants to talk about what he's talking about. He don't want distractions. He don't want assholes popping up.
Well, he lets them on.
It's understandable.
He's a little guilty. Jack has like super patience early, and after a while, I guess it's normal probably for everybody. But after a while, his patience will get short. But he tolerates and puts up with some shit. I'll be like, oh my god, I can't believe it. I think once he wears out is when he starts to boot motherfuckers. Normally, he's pretty even keeled until
Thank you, Joe.
I think anyway.
You know, Jack, you
Thank
said
you.
something about just getting back to what we were talking about before, like Trump wants American supremacy. What is wrong with that?
Woo! Go ahead. Sorry. Got excited.
his definition of American supremacy. It's at the expense of it's at the expense of workers, freedom, and others outside of America.
Yeah,
Let me ask you that
I gotta
question.
agree with Jack here because I voted for Trump all across the board. I do like some shit, but now just going after small business owners and shit like that, dude. Like they're letting the IRS go back 9 fucking years when the standard's always been 5 to 7. So I mean, this ain't really working for the little guy. Like I'm not really.
Nick,
Yeah, that,
Nick,
that
I
one
think
shocked
that
me.
was you who just asked Jack that what's wrong with American
Mr. B.
supremacy. By the way, Nick, can I ask, are you the Nick who gets kicked off of flat Earth panels too?
Yeah, generally when
Okay,
it
Yeah,
starts
probably.
talking about map
solve.
and
Okay, all right.
Heard Flat
Nick,
Earth and Trump, and I was like, I gotta participate. But
I
continue.
know, right? I
No, I'm
know.
all about Trump.
Wait, let me
But
ask Nick. Let me ask Nick something. Nick, let me ask you.
yeah.
You say what's wrong with American supremacy? Let
Hmm.
me ask you: is black supremacy okay? Is white supremacy okay? Is women's supremacy okay? Probably none of that's okay. That should be your indicator that American supremacy it can't stand alone. It's probably
Well,
not
no,
okay.
no, no, no. I
the
gotta
United States
disagree
is a
with you there,
nation,
Charles.
not a group of people. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess,
Clearly, I knew that before I
yeah,
proposed that, right? You
and
know,
I
I
guess
wasn't
No.
trying
no,
to
but
say the
you're not
United
entirely
States is one
incorrect.
person,
I
right?
mean,
You're not responding to my
we are
question.
a
Yeah,
group
but
of people as
the
well.
United States needs to be top dog in the world, dude. Like that's just what it is.
But see, I
Hey,
think
in
it's
the
a
back, can you flash your
mischaracterization.
cam real quick so I
Sorry.
can make sure
Because
it's you?
once we're not, our standard of living goes down,
All
and
right, I
that's like
got you.
sorry for the rest of the world, but
Yeah.
dude, we're Americans,
That's
man.
Jamie. Jamie.
Babies,
What up, Joe Cool?
Oh, what's up, baby?
Yeah.
I heard
No,
supremacy,
I
so I had to join
reject
the
the.
conversation.
Yeah.
Well,
I
this Joe
reject the
Cool guy,
notion that Trump wants American supremacy. I think he wants America first. I don't think it's
America
American
first.
supremacy. I think
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah, that's a
mischaracterization.
I mean,
narrative.
I would
Yeah.
agree with that. I mean, the way
His
he deals with
actions. What about
Russia,
his? Yeah,
China,
go ahead.
it doesn't seem like he's really putting us on top.
That's all smoke
Yes.
and mirrors, man. That's all smoke and mirrors. They're just trying to mask the fact that inflation is going to cause shit to go through the roof. Trust me, man. They did so much spending. This is all like a fucking. The more I've been watching this shit the last 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, the more I see, dude. This is theatrics. This is a
Maybe even more. All four of Obama big
yeah, way
spending,
more.
Biden, both
Now
Trump big
Biden had
spending.
cancer. Dude, Biden had cancer before he fucking ran for presidency.
Yeah.
They said that shit metastasized to his fucking bones. That doesn't
They say
happen
these
overnight.
last three presidents
That takes
printed.
You headed out, Jack? Oh,
they-
okay.
These last three presidents printed more than 90% of all currency in U.S. history. That's how bad they spent it. Trump, Biden, Obama.
All of them. Yep.
No, that's over exaggerated. I heard that too, but when I looked into
All
it,
right.
that's exaggerated.
I appreciate you looking to it because apparently I'm a lazy fuck.
No,
But
no,
they
a lot
have,
of people were
right?
saying that though. They did.
they-
Okay, so the bills when Biden was in office and one bill when Trump was in office, it's the equivalency to I think a third. If you add in the other president, if you add in Obama, Biden, and Trump, if you add all three of them together and you scale it to the last 45 years, it's a third of the equivalency of what actually got spent.
When they said the numbers, I think what they didn't count for what $20 was worth in the 40s and $20 is now. I think they just put trillions up against all those years when niggas wouldn't even,
They scaled it, but they didn't scale it by like budget. Okay, so like they added in the budget and then they put in the overages on top of the budget and pretended like it was just all one. Like, no, it's not all
Right.
one. It was a major fucking crisis. It's
No,
not all
no. Major crisis, my ass. It still counts. And even without that major crisis, he outspent any other fucking president. It's
Which one?
crazy.
Was that
Trump.
Biden?
No, Trump.
Trump.
His first
Yeah.
term, he spent I forgot how many fucking trillions. But he outspent the
It
other
was something like
presidents in 4
2.6
years.
trillion.
No, the 4.7 or some shit like that. Just without the other
2.6
package.
because the third package didn't land because apparently Nancy Pelosi had an issue with him.
I'll look this
And
up.
then
Oh, and by the way, Nancy Pelosi cost 118 minor children their lives in the city of Chicago because she was playing politics, high school politics with people's lives during a time of crisis. Shout out to the feds for actually doing their job in the city of Chicago and taking the ATF agents, their unnamed Gestapo agents, as they were named by Nancy Pelosi. Thank you for the ATF agents that took guns off the streets and kept people safe.
Wait. You want them to take our guns? What kind of fucking
No, they were taking
communist
guns
are
out
you?
of gang members' fucking hands and working the streets of Chicago.
Really?
murderers.
That makes no sense, Jamie. Everybody I know is a gang member. We shouldn't have guns because we're in a gang. This is the roughest neighborhood in the world. We shouldn't be able to
Violent
protect
criminals should not
ourselves.
have violent
No.
criminals should not
No,
have
no.
guns. No,
We're not
violent
talking about
criminals
that.
should not
Wasn't
have
what I
guns.
said. I didn't say nothing about violent criminals, right? I said
Well, I'm
gang
talking
members.
about gang
Most
members.
gang members
We're talking
are
about
just
gang members.
most gang members are soft ass niggas just hustling on the corner. Most
Yeah,
of them.
83% of
What
gang
did you
members have
say?
violent crimes attached to them.
Yeah, if you're a
Bullshit.
gang member, you should.
Look at the
Bullshit.
Joe,
stats,
you're a
Joe.
gang
Look
I don't
at
have
the
to look at the
stats,
stats.
Joe.
I grow up with these niggas. I've been in the jail with these niggas. 83%
For
of
violent
my
crimes. You might have been in there for drugs, but most of them were in there for violent crimes affiliated and attached to drugs.
nonsense.
the
And
cap,
if you
Joe.
read that stat, you shouldn't even have believed it. If
What do
you
you
read
think the
something.
banging part of gang banging is?
Wait, I don't have to think, right? I know it's a lot of the same shit that any kid does. Fights,
No,
stealing
we were
cars,
not doing that.
or
That's
whatever.
not any kids were
don't
not
fight.
doing that stuff.
Kids
No,
don't.
I
Any
was
kid
doing-
don't fight. Wait, y'all don't agree that
now
all kids
you're
fight?
gaslighting and obfuscating.
No, I know. He
Not
cut
with
me off.
weapons.
Moving the
He cut me
goalposts.
off while I was still trying to
shooting
name
at
the shit.
dudes, I stab people, like
Wait. Did you guys just agree that most kids don't fight? Only gang members.
No.
No.
Hell no. I would
I didn't
never
think no
agree
one
to
agreed.
that.
Jeff cut me off when I was just getting started. All I got out was fight, and all y'all said no, they don't do that.
You're
I was
moving
saying
the goalpost.
Good, we don't
no.
fight
I was going to
weapons,
take the
guns,
goalpost to
stuff.
where
I
it
mean,
was. I was going to say the average kid is doing the average shit that you guys
Not with
do.
weapons.
Yeah, it depends
Especially
on what
illegal
gang
weapons.
you're in too. Like there's politics, there's all sorts of shit that fucking makes up a gang. You're not just gonna go and do certain shit.
Literally everybody here joins the gang. Literally, and most of them don't do shit. They at most they hustle, and most of them don't even do that. They just claim the gang out of security. That's the
Why are
average
they
gang
doing
member.
any of that instead
Because
of just
it's scary out
participating
here.
in society?
Because they have
Because
it's
inferiority
scary out
complexes
here.
and don't
Yes.
have faith in God.
Exactly. It's
They
like
don't know nothing about God. I've never been to church, and nobody teach God here.
when
They
you
know
feel
about
weak-
jobs and
when you
society
feel
and
weak-
school.
There's no jobs here either.
No, you grew up down the street from a fucking mega church.
There's
Ain't no
jobs in
mega church
Chicago.
on the
No,
west
you
side.
Yes, there
I'm
is.
on
There's
the
a
west
mega
side.
church on the
Name
west
one.
side.
I'm on the
Fucking
west
Byron T.
side.
Brazier, motherfucker.
Where Brazier,
You grew
I've
up
been
right
to him.
down the
He's
street
out
from
south.
Brazier.
That's out south. I've been to his church. I visited. I
Well, there
toured
you
his
go.
church.
So you just proved my point.
That's out south. I'm a west sider. I'm out west.
You still proved my point. You still know God.
I'm saying, well, okay.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I've never been. I bought
Yeah,
a Bible
motherfucker.
from that church after I had a religious experience, I call it. I
That's
went
because
and
Byron T.
toured the
Brazier
church,
was the shit.
and it was Brazier's fucking mega church out there out south.
You know, the first time I ever sat down and watched a sermon of his when I was in fucking Cook County jail. That was the first time I had ever fucking seen him.
Wow. Yeah, they had a bookstore in there. It was so big they had to get 2 sermons plus outdoors overflow to be filled up. And when they say mega, they got big praying hands on the wall. They about 20, 30 feet tall. To give you an idea that the ceiling is just so far up there, this place. And back then, they had 24-hour cassette tapes, a whole bank wall, and I mean long wall that you can walk down. And on the other side, CDs. And they were burning his sermons in 24 hours a day. They had a huge bookstore built into the church. I bought a Bible out of there. I asked them for a Quran, and they say that's for dumb people. You know, that's
Damn, bro.
Yeah, bro. That was at Brazier's church.
Jeez.
Hey, you guys were talking about gangs, and I was thinking about it. I was in one of the most violent gangs in history,
Oh my god.
the U.S. Army.
Yeah,
Oh shit.
that one might be hard to dispute. Unless
Oh,
you go
shit.
with the cops, they might be more.
I'll
Yeah, they
dispute
more
it.
violent than
Well,
cops.
They are gangs. They really are.
I don't consider
That's where I was
military
going, Jamie.
Yeah, I think it's
When
a
you
little-
had
Jack
accused me of moving
Talcott,
the
you're
goalposts.
way off base with that.
yeah, I
No.
think
The only reason why you have the freedom to express your opinion right now is because of that gang that you just called them.
Yeah, but I also,
Wait.
Jamie, one of my drill sergeants did say, because there was a dude in our platoon that he had like some kind of gang symbol, and our drill sergeant saw that, and he was like, "Oh, you think your gang's shit?" He says, "I'm part of the biggest gang in the world." He said
Chicago.
that
It's
to
all a
him. I
matter.
heard him.
It's
I know
all a
he's
matter of perspective.
No, I
and
know, I know,
when you
I
talk
know.
about it like that, it's like, dude.
So, Jamie,
listen,
you
the
don't think
freedoms
this?
that we take for granted every day wouldn't
Well,
be
No,
a thing if we
absolutely.
losing
wait.
them.
We were talking about
Absolutely,
gangs, though,
heroes.
right?
But
Are
I'm
the
just saying.
police a gang, Jamie?
No.
Some
Where
have
we live, I'll
organized.
say this, Joe. Where we live, yes,
100% where we
yeah,
live. I think
larger
in general,
percentage, larger
absolutely.
percentage where we
yeah.
live.
There's little squads of gangs that click cops that click up. They
Oh,
click
of course,
up
of
and they do
course.
all
I
sorts of
mean,
Yeah.
shit.
I
Have you
mean,
ever
and
as a
that
seen
whole,
shit,
yo,
that shit's been like that for a long time, and that's not
Well,
just unique to the cops. That's a human condition type thing. It
But what do
happens
you
in most
define as a
aspects of
gang?
life.
Like, what makes
very
a gang a
good.
gang?
That's
like
what
a
I'm trying
group
to
of
get to.
people that goes out and commits violent acts and fucking takes money and fucking like
Really,
So the
I dare
gangs that
say
Joe
that you
grew
and
up
your
with.
8 friends who clicked up could be called a gang. Whatever you
No.
did
A
when
So
you
gang,
were
it
young,
the
takes
your
more
8
than
gangs
that.
friends from the
Joe.
two
neighborhood
or more, yeah,
could be
it's like what
called a
is it?
Classified as a
gang.
gang.
Yeah, that's right.
No,
But
no,
if me
no.
and you,
White
hold
motherfuckers
on.
who write books would never classify them as a gang. But there's no difference between a clique of folk corner hustlers over here who are going about their average, whatever it is, beat up a
what are
drunk or
you
whatever it
talking
is,
about, man? That's gang
joyriding,
Yeah,
shit.
beat
whatever it
up a
is
drunk
you
is not
got.
Yeah,
gang.
beat up a dude. Yeah,
The
that's
rest
what
of
your
us are not
argument
beating
falls
up
flat.
drunks.
That's
Wait,
what your argument.
Joe, hold on though.
this is
You're not being
nonsense.
real with the situation though.
Yeah,
Please
The
give it to
gangs
me.
that you grew up with in the early 80s, late 80s, it's totally removed from what it is now. Like
We were horrible.
there's no sense of neighborhood now. There's no sense of honor
Yeah.
now. There's no sense of protection now. There's
Yeah.
not the original, there's not the original fucking I
Leadership.
forget
That's
the
what
word.
we had, right? That
Well,
they don't
not
have
just
now.
that, and that happened by design too. If you think that they didn't take out the 5 heads of the fucking biggest
Right.
gangs in the city of
Right.
Chicago on purpose, I mean that was done by design. They
Right.
knew what would happen. They
And
knew the
all of these
chaos that it
cliques just
caused.
start splitting up. Yeah.
The
But
same ideology now is not the same ideology then. Like the protection and the sense of community that they had back then, totally
yeah,
removed now. All it is now is greed, ownership, pride,
it's
egoism.
disgusting.
That's all it is.
It's disgusting. Yeah, ego, pride. Yeah, you name it. You named it.
That's what
Most gang members though are motherfuckers like me. It just go to the liquor store, buy cigars and shit like that. In our youth, and these YNs, of course they bang, but we're
Yeah,
still
but that's
gang
not
member
really
40,
gang
50
shit.
years
What
old,
are
and
you in a
motherfuckers.
gang? Are you saying you're in a gang?
Yeah, not
Yes,
if
I'm
it's
saying I'm
just
in a
going to
gang.
the
Yes,
store and
till the
getting
world
Joe
blow
is
up.
absolutely in a gang.
To the
No,
Joe is
world blow
that
up.
absolutely
doesn't
Yes.
sound like it. Do you going to the store and getting blunts? That's like real inactive shit.
That's what I'm saying. Most motherfuckers, when they go to jail, they don't know one scripture, right? They don't know one because in the streets, you don't have to do all that shit. It ain't all organized and shit. This motherfuckers just
But
get
why are
together
they
with their
even in the
friends.
streets? Was
Yeah, I gotta
my
say, dude.
question when they can just go out and join society
No,
and
I
get
I
jobs
met
and
a
stuff.
poverty,
Really,
lack of
someone else.
education, social
They had the same
engineering, shit
education
like
we
that.
did.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
No,
I
Gen
went to
X
Jeff.
Jeff,
school with them.
you are
I know
wrong.
what
Hey,
kind of
dude.
but
education they
Jeff,
got because they were in
t-
my classes.
tell me about your biology classes, Jeff. You guys do experiments and shit like that.
Yeah.
4
Yeah, we
years of
did.
high
Little pigs
school,
and shit.
never even saw a test tube. 4 years of high
Well,
school,
you had
never
bad
had a
teachers that went to
Bunsen
a bad
burner.
school.
Yeah, that's how I was in
But
school.
you're not Jeff. What he's trying to explain to you, the social engineering has a definite foothold in the education system, and when you're in impoverished neighborhoods, you don't have the collective of the community kicking up to make sure that the education variances aren't that deviated from the standard testing. You have a lot of situations that happen in poverty-stricken schools and Chicago neighborhoods like that, and even in the suburbs to some point, and even in rural neighborhoods to
Right.
some point. So not everybody gets the equal shake, but more importantly enough, so you got the human condition. I've been saying this a lot lately because it's just ever valid. When you got the human condition of being in a good school and yet you're going home and you're worried about fucking eating food and you're worried about your mom and dad fighting from their human condition. They're, you know,
Right.
not rising above. You're not really paying attention to that. Okay. It pretty much washes everything that you learned that day off the fucking table. You're not concerned with that. And it is partially social engineering, and it is by design. It does happen. Maybe it was meant in the first place. Maybe it was meant to do that and have that effect long term so that white people can get a foothold or other people can get a foothold. Who knows? But at the end of the day, it's what we do now.
I
Well,
don't
no,
know about that.
there's a lot of accuracy in that, Doc.
Because
The mom
in
and
my
dad
neighborhood, dude, there wasn't a lot of gang, but there was the mob. And all their little social clubs and all that other shit was packed.
Yeah,
off
someone
in
say they're not a
suburban fucking
gang, though.
spots.
By
No,
definition,
That's
they're
a
not
totally
gang.
different. That's a
No,
totally
not
different
really,
thing,
though.
though.
See?
Not
No,
really.
it really
no.
is, because the mafia promoted education. The mafia didn't just let some dumb motherfucker in. Like,
So
you know
did
what I'm
the
saying?
vice
Like,
lords,
it's
right?
Are you
And
shitting me
GDs.
now?
When we started, it was all
There's
about
a
The mob
communities.
is
We
just one
got
of those
we got
scumbags,
loans from the
yo.
government. We started like that, the gangs. Here. Remember, they all had fucking government contracts and school teaching the kids and all of that shit. Then drugs came in and fucking killed everything.
Well, you know, Cabrini Greens, Robert Taylor Project, Stateway Gardens, O Block, they, you know, they had a very big influence. And if anybody says that shit wasn't utilized as a direct main line to drug an entire community and the surrounding areas, yeah, you're fucking crazy.
You're insane. We was getting the good
You're
shit
fucking
back
out of
there.
your mind.
Yeah, we had the good back there. It was
You're
dope.
talking, and I forget who said it, but he was like, I think it was dude after he got out. What? No, he didn't get out. He said it in his book. What, the leader of the GDs, Joe? What was his name?
Hoover.
Hoover. Okay, so Larry Hoover. Larry Hoover said, "You think I had a fucking plane? You think I had a 747 and I was bringing in fucking hundreds of metric tons of fucking cocaine and heroin every fucking year?"
So
He's
let
like,
me
I
ask
ain't
you
got no fucking plane. The shit was brought to me.
So let me ask you this, because there was like a small thing, or GDs, but is that folk?
Yeah,
No, that's
GDs is
good.
folk.
All right, yeah, in the
They folk,
pitchfork
though.
and all
They
that
call
shit.
They're not all
no,
folks.
How you make it?
no, GDs is folks. Maybe
Yeah. Well, there was
BDs. Might be. They fight the GDs now, the BDs. But yeah, folk. Cause we foes, and every time you go to jail, motherfucker can't talk right. Be like, you folk, and the foes end up with the folk, and the folk end up with us.
No,
So we
I
gotta
know, because
shuffle
when I was
motherfuckers back
homeless-
where they go.
When I was homeless, dude, fucking, they tried to get me in that gang, and I didn't really get in. But when there was fights and shit, like I mean, it was homeless shit. I'm living on
What
the
kind of
street.
gang?
It was folk. They called themselves folk. There was a general. There was fucking all sorts of dude that had mad rank. They said they were like chaptered out of Chicago.
What?
And the
Was
dude's
it was
name,
homeless people?
the chief's name was Chicago. He called himself Chicago.
Yeah, it had to be a GD.
Oh, this motherfucker.
I don't know nothing about it.
ran
But
out of
I'm not
town.
saying
Was
it
it
was
because
Right,
like
right.
My name's Chicago, and I'm
Chicago. Yeah,
Chicago,
and then there was another one named Duke, who fucking
they
he was
were
from
renegades. They were
Oh,
definitely
dude, I kicked the
renegades.
shit out of Duke. He was a big black dude. When I hit him, dude, I was fucking giving him bruises.
I've heard this before in a white suburban neighborhood.
Oh no,
We've
it ain't
had-
suburban, dude. I beat the fuck, dude. He couldn't see shit.
We've
He
had
called me
so many
black.
calls from niggas doing that who be
Oh
talking
no,
about.
dude. Then my dude,
And we got to
Fred,
trace to see what elite, what chief, how you get your shit, and it is all niggas who just bluff.
Hey,
and they
listen.
never did shit.
My dude, Fred, he went out to California and he started throwing up some GD shit, some like folk shit with some other dude. And he was telling me, like, that shit over there in Rhode Island, that wasn't shit. Like he said, he was with the real dudes. And when the shit went down, his boys ran on him.
See, nowadays you can't even say like peoples and folks because there's so many renegade sets now.
Yeah.
That you can't even go by that anymore.
I never put too much stock into that shit because, like I said, there's always been mob on the East Coast, New England, all that shit. So, and I mean, it was
Waste
just
of
like,
time and money.
yeah, they never bothered you. I mean, you could bring them anything and you get money for it. Like they
Yeah,
didn't.
the mob's pretty much underground now.
Well, no, dude, they
Not
ain't even
out here.
doing no
They
mob.
still act as fuck in
Dude, you
Chicago.
can rip
Right
off
across
mob
to
Yeah.
guys.
Cicero, they full of
Yeah,
fucking mob
bullshit, dude.
niggas
You
over
can
there.
rip them guys off. They ain't even doing nothing no more.
I'm just
You
saying
know,
they
some
took
of
the
the
mob
niggas
out
that's
when they
still in the
start.
news is from
Yeah.
Chicago. The still active mob leaders that they still show pictures in the news. They right across the fucking in Cicero, Illinois, right next
No,
to
But
it.
I know the
they
mob's
just cut
always been
their
fucking
balls off though,
Chicago.
man. All their revenues is gone. I mean, it's the mob
No, no,
is
no, no, no.
Not in
The mob.
Chicago.
Listen,
well,
what
I don't know how
happened?
Chicago is. I can't
Whatever the
speak to
fuck.
What the
Chicago.
mob did, listen, what the mob did in the fucking early 80s, late 80s, they fucking transferred, okay? They legitimized themselves. They got into
Mm.
different organizations. They're into fucking trade work. They're into garbage
They do
disposal.
all the
They're
garbage,
into a
all the
lot of
trade,
different
all the
stuff.
city
They're in
contracts. They still
government.
have it.
Yeah, it basically,
Oh,
yeah, Jack, they
some
went into
guy,
government.
some
Yeah.
That's
guy,
accurate. They bought
some guy.
seats and they have mouthpieces. That's
No, no,
accurate.
no. Some guys did, and some guys' families. Other guys are fucking dying broke. That's just fucking
That's
what's
the
happening.
regular gang member too, by the way. The regular gang member is just some dude who joined, don't know shit.
The funny thing is, if you understand gangs and you understand that atmosphere and you
Yeah.
adapt it to politics, you'll
Yes.
flourish. You will flourish.
Undoubtedly. You be writing that 48 laws of power shit in your first week. You dominate.
Yep. You'll be walking in like you guys have no idea what I'm about to do in this
So what do you
motherfucker.
guys? So what do you guys think of that fucking John A. Light being appointed to a New Jersey City Council?
What's that?
Yeah,
not
you'd have to
familiar
fill
with
me in.
You don't know John, the mob guy, racketeer, murderer.
Oh no, he's in the
Oh.
council seat. Okay.
Yeah, now he was appointed by the mayor. Like, I forget what.
I like it. Larry
I
Hoover.
like your fucking Joe
dude.
Wood like
Larry Hoover was trying to change. You know, we started getting older. He started trying to make that GD stand for growth and development. And I think his heart was in it. Yeah, he was still hustling, and that's how he
Hey,
got popped. But
Joe, what's the other guy's name? Not Larry Hoover, the other co-founder that was with
I got a
Growth and
picture of him. I
Development.
can't think of his name. Hold on. Oh, I ain't gonna
Older
look for
guy
it
that
now.
does YouTube shit now.
I know the cat you're talking about. I just happen to.
He was more on like the political
hold on.
front.
I
Like he was
cannot
more
think
on the
of that
community
nigga name.
front.
Yeah, GDs was ahead of us with that. I remember we always admired them. The wiser of us, you know, the youngest might have called them soft or whatever, but we thought that was great. They were showing us the way. You know, everybody respect the Hoover. Even we always respect the Hoover. That motherfucker could walk around here like any neighborhood.
Unstrapped.
Unstrapped, you know, we'd all, you know,
He'd drop
make
his money on
sure
the sidewalk and
okay.
fucking just
And
walk away.
walk
It would be
off.
returned to him.
And this is technically opposition neighborhood,
What, in
but
Chicago?
well, yeah, we're in Vice Lord Folk on the Hustle over here, and he'd be a GD, the head of all that shit. But we absolutely respect and admire that motherfucker.
So what's your rank?
I never took a rank, man. I'm a regular cat. However, I know all these niggas, been in all their houses, did business with all these niggas, and they all say, Joe, why didn't you take no rank?
I wouldn't
And
have you in a gang. Do they know you're on YouTube telling all
no,
this?
I wasn't on YouTube when I was doing that.
You know it has the snitches.
I gotta be a snitch, Jeff.
Don't worry, Jeff. He's all right.
Yeah, I'm filming the cops. They love me. But even before that, by me, I could be in opposing gangs like us folk on the hustlers. We used to fight ourselves. We just want a war with everybody. I could go to a meeting when ain't no folk on the hustlers supposed to be there, and I could go in there and hang out with them niggas and everybody love me. Then go to the folk on the hustler meeting at the park, and then go over to the GD section. I could do all that shit because I never went with them. And I just remember in the 90s when I went to jail. And they asked me that shit. My answer back then was the lit. It starts off that you must put the gang before everything, including your family and God. And I had an issue with that.
Yeah. No, good for you, man. Good for you. Nothing.
Yeah, blind ignorance isn't a sell point.
Yeah. I ain't smoked
Joe,
all day,
where the
man.
fuck you at now, Joe? You in Illinois or you out?
I'm back
west?
I'm out west. I'm in Chicago. My family is not doing well. It's stressful. So I just got back from the hospital and just hopped on here and started smoking. It's the first time
Oh,
I smoked all day, which for me is like I wake up smoking, but
I
I'm
know.
so
I didn't know.
busy
Oh, I can't even
taking
imagine.
care of things now. I ain't
Going
even been
through
filming and
fucking
shit.
strollus
This
Is that for
withdrawals
your
over there,
brother,
Joe.
Joe?
brother and another family member went down to.
Oh no, I'm
Yeah.
Joe. I'm so sorry.
Thank you for that, man. And it's depressing. It's girl, it takes some getting used to, man. It's horrible, man. And the two hospitals
Yeah.
that they're in are so far apart.
So it's
You know,
separate hospital. It's two
they're in
different people.
separate
Oh my
hospitals. Yeah, I
God.
came
Even
here
one is
because
stress.
my brother already has terminal brain cancer. Then he got another
Oh
cancer
man.
in his leg. And when they looked at that, they found more in other places. So I came here to take care of him. He can't walk. And then someone else went down and they can't walk and they're at another hospital and they further, one's toward downtown and one's out in the suburbs, it's up north. It's just stupid. And then the stress. The stress is a motherfucker. I'm the one taking care of everything. Well, actually, my sister's in from out of town. She's been enormous help.
Wow, man. All right.
Yeah,
Well, God bless. Hopefully.
thank you for that. And I don't want to change the mood and all that stuff. We can talk about gangs and shit again.
Oh, death or gangs.
Yeah,
and
fall in
and
line, Joe. You're fucking up the flow.
right, and the
Killing
chief
the vibe, bro.
and you're not into this gang shit. You hear motherfuckers call themselves chiefs. You can be a local chief. You can be a chief in Chicago. Big niggas can give you that. But universal stars, as we call them, but universal chiefdom that travels must be given by four guys at the time.
No,
And
no, dude. I'm
and
sure these
one of those
guys.
guys, I said all that
I
to
said
say this.
no.
One
No,
of
I'm
those
sure
guys
these. Hey,
stayed
Joe.
4 houses down from me, so I grew up in the thick of it.
Joe, I'm sure these guys were full of shit, dude. Like, I'm sure. There's probably a
For
guy from Chicago who knew that shit and probably tried to start something.
I
Yeah.
don't know what you're talking about. If you seen some of the violent shit I've seen these niggas pull, man, I swear to here. I'll give you one. Me and my buddy, we folk on the hustles. This is how complicated and political this shit it gets. We get into it with a vice lord gang. I told you we're bad and we just want to fight everybody. When we get out there, we got our guns. One group of us, the other group come up, 100 niggas up the block. The Chiefs drive up and meet. Hadneef and I forgot who the other one was. It was Hadneef and commentating. I forgot who the other cat was, but they stopped us and we all went back. But that night it was so fucking hot and so fucking angry. One dude ran past a joint, Folkman Hustler joint. He was like, he was whatever the other gang was that was into a vice lord, and he was like, if any vice lords here, when we get back, we killing them on the spot.
Oh,
And so me and my two friends, they're vice lords. I'm a Folkman hustler. I'm like, look, nigga, I'm the only one who could be out here, and I'm leaving. You niggas need to leave. My man, like, Joe, I'm on the next jab. As soon as I run that, I'm go with you. But he walks me. He started to walk me home a little bit. We get down about 5 houses. These niggas didn't wait 20 minutes. Came out, and the guy who was out there, good friend of ours, name's G, shot him in the head. When he
Yeah.
dropped, shot him again, spit on him, and then went back,
you saw
got back.
all of this?
Yes, I was
Oh
five
my
houses
Oh,
God.
away.
Jeff,
This
dude,
is
I've seen guys get stabbed in the temple with a screwdriver.
Dude.
I seen a guy on a bicycle riding by and shoot a dude in the fucking doorway of his own house.
one of my
In your
G's.
Guy in a bicycle
neighborhood?
came out shooting at him. This dude fired back. That dude didn't like me. He was fucking his girl, but yeah,
I
he was
seen a
riding by.
Jew one time.
I seen fucking dude. I'll tell you what. Some of these so-called fucking folk and all that other shit. I had a whole bank job planned out, and every one of them backed out on me.
Yeah.
Wait, you were gonna rob a
Fucking
bank?
Doc.
Bet your ass I would, dude. That's where the money was. Back then, it
I
ain't
guess.
worth
I
that shit
guess
now.
say
It
don't
never
say too
happened. It
much
never
more because we're on YouTube. But
It was a plan, but dude, I thought he was all solid.
you
dudes,
came up
man.
with it.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh my God.
Doc,
All right, well, you weren't
conspiracy is a
kidding me.
thing. Shut up.
There's no conspiracy. Nothing
He
Nothing
said he
happened.
didn't do it, so
Nothing
let's
happened.
talk
Nothing
about it.
happened.
It's conspiracy, Joe. He doesn't have to do it.
Is that true? It probably is.
No, dude, they'll get you on the conspiracy if it actually happened.
No, even if it didn't happen, that's the beautiful part about conspiracy. You don't
That's
have to
only
actually
what-
do
that's
it.
You're
only
right. That's
what-
how the feds get theirs. Like with all the bombings and terrorist cases, they get the guys
Yes.
before they do it, and nothing haven't happened really.
It was a sovereign. There was 2 cars. You fucking went
Oh
in,
no!
jumped
Just
the
stop.
fucking
Just
counter.
You
la
want
Yeah,
la
you
la
giving
la
us
la la
details?
la la
Stop
la
it.
if you
la.
want.
Well, let's
I
just
mean,
give them
I
the whole
definitely want to hear
fucking
the story,
You
but
demographic
I
make
don't
of
us
it.
want you to
all
mess
look
your life
bad,
up either.
bruh.
It'll be in my book.
Yeah, write a
I
book.
bet. You and Takashi 6ix9ine.
Have Joe write it for you.
The
Yeah.
day
You
Joe
know,
Cool ran out on Doc.
I was writing a
Joe
book
Cool will
when I started
narrate. He'll
No,
coming up
I
narrate
with
know,
it.
it.
I know. I'm breaking balls. I'm only breaking balls. I'm breaking balls about the bank shit too.
That's right.
Vic
There's
No,
a
wants
I
to
really
hypothetical
am.
join
book
in.
I'm
in
only.
Minecraft.
All right, while you live, Vic. All right, man. Hey guys, salute Jeff. It's good seeing you, man. Jeff.
You too,
I
Doc.
mean Jack Talcott, man. Salute, man. It was good seeing you. I met you that one time. Mike G. Good meeting you. Yo, Joe Cool, Jamie, all you guys, man.
You out, Doc?
Been a blast. Yeah, I gotta go fucking run, dude. I'm eating pizza, being an asshole.
Later, Doc.
My man.
Yeah.
If I can ever get my shit out of here, Jesus Christ. All right, later, guys. Hey, have a great panel.
Later.
Joe, man. No
Later.
disrespect. Salute, man.
Take
Later.
care,
Stay
Doc.
safe out there, bro. Stay
Thank you
safe.
for that. Love.
Well, we can wrap up because it's coming up on
All
time.
right.
We
I
need to
didn't
start
even
winding
see
down
who all
anyway.
on YouTube anyway. I saw you and Jack all like, I ain't been over there in a long fucking time. All right, I'm
Joe
get
Cool,
up
good to
out of
see
here.
you. Stay
Oh,
black.
did we
Same.
just
See
I
you
get
in the
swear
next
to
trolled?
one.
Did
God,
Doc
Jamie, I
just
was
get
thinking
trolled
about
off the
you
panel?
today or yesterday. So God, it's just how things happen and you pop up, man. You was just
You
in
should
my
hit
mind.
me up, dude. We'll have lunch. I'll buy you lunch anytime.
All right, Pepper. Wow.
That was very
Hey,
touching.
thank you. Blessings to all. Peace.
Jack,
Thanks,
you
Jeff.
too as
See you.
well.
See
Are
you,
you
Jack.
gonna keep streaming and keep updating? You're
Until I find a different idea
okay.
or something opens up.
All right. Well, we'll keep
Blessings to you
tuning in.
guys. Have a good night.
Mike, Mr. P, you as
See you,
well.
Jeff.
Thank you very much for coming up. Always good to see you. Everyone that came on panel tonight. What a great panel. No drama, no trolling. Not a lot. This was just a good conversation and building community. That's what I'm trying to do here. So, see the difference? This is what we're going to keep going. Oh yeah, we forgot to do shirtless. You'll have to remind us. People are trying to get us to monetize that, but so far, I mean, we can barely pull it off for free, and that window's only getting smaller. Yeah, Jack, you too. I always enjoy it when you stop by, and I like seeing what's happening in your story. You have one of the more interesting journeys on YouTube right now, and so I appreciate being able to follow it. Thanks, Ag. It was thanks to all the panelists, and yes, it was it was refreshing. I will tell you that. So I'll probably be out tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Friday? Friday night? Yeah, I work tomorrow, but I'll probably be out in the evening. It was good, Mr. B. We had just like Joe Cool was up here, and Lord Doc, and Mr. P. Nick Vogt was here earlier. We had a actual conversation about different topics: politics, gangs, Trump, the economy. It was an actual panel where we just weigh in and give our opinions and perspectives on whatever topics come up. So I enjoyed it. I appreciated it. I got a lot out of it. And thank all of you for being here. Yeah, he was on at the beginning, and then he had to hop off. And he said if I'm still going, he'll be back later. But I won't be able to keep going tonight. Thank you, Joey. So far, I really like it. It was definitely the right thing to do, and not only did it provide me what I need materially, it was one of the better things that I've done for my mental health lately too. So it really helped to be doing something around other people that had meaning and purpose, and participating in the economy, participating in society. All of that had mental health benefits and still does. So it's I'm on an interesting journey myself. We'll see where it goes. All right. Love you guys as usual, and I'm pretty sure I'll be out tomorrow. If not, don't sweat it. I'll be out the day after. But pretty sure I'll be here tomorrow. All right. Take care, y'all.